and you actually want to take less trades to improve your performance. It seems counterintuitive, but it's true. If you look at the research, it actually shows that when you actually limit the number of positions you take, you actually improve your performance. So if you cut down from 30 to 15 or 10, you'll find that instead of actually doing worse, you actually do more. And that goes into a third point, which is less liquid pairs and more volatile pairs, which is something Anton Creel goes into a lot of detail about, which is that you'd think that the broker gives you those FX pairs on the front page. You think that they're picking out those pairs for you and they're helping you, when in actual fact they're actually not. Those are the cheaper pairs and those are the less costly pairs to them. So they would love you to trade those pairs, but the problem is that they're not volatile, so you won't make as much as you would with exotics or more volatile pairs. And so essentially he was saying avoid all those liquid pairs and go to the volatile pairs like the exotics. And don't go for a higher win rate. You'd think that if you have a higher win rate, you'd actually grow your account much faster, and that's actually wrong. We've actually seen that the lower win rates actually have more profitability. I've seen like guys with a 75% win rate and they're still blowing accounts. So they'll have a 75% win rate, but their risk management is terrible. I don't know why that happens. I don't know the stats or the maths on that, but I know for a fact that the most profitable and the consistently profitable usually have a win rate of about 35% to 65%. It's usually never high. So I don't think that if you trade more or you trade less, if you don't think that if you trade more that you'll do better, or that if you have a high win rate you'll do better. It's all wrong and it's lies. Hold trades for longer. That's one of the tips I would give you, which is to hold your trades for much longer. So if you trade less, like I said, you trade less and you hold on for longer, you'll see your performance actually improve. And go for the easier pairs. I've listed pound pairs, rand, gold, and silver. There's no point in going for difficult pairs because you're just going to keep losing on them. And in fact, if you go through your history, you'll notice I did this with someone. I asked him to send me his history. And I remember telling him that, like, do you know that, like, nearly 89% of the time you're losing on this pair? Why not just avoid it? And he was like, oh, I've never actually noticed that. And I'm like, it's important. Every month you should go through and see which pairs are you doing well at and which ones are you doing terrible at. The ones you're doing badly in, cut them out completely. That will help you a lot. Stay away from the pair called the cable. The cable is the pound US dollar. It's really difficult to trade, and a lot of the times it's in free fall, so it's always falling. I've also had bad experiences with it. I would just not trade it at all. The other pound pairs are fine. And then number 8, you need a high growth strategy. I would recommend the W and the M strategy, and I've done detailed webinar on that one. So the W and the M, and the divergence, or the 8 moving average. So I've done detailed ones of those, like 25-minute webinars on those. You can go check those out. Those are the ones I would recommend. I've seen great results with them. I would recommend them. Go back, test them, go look at them. Avoid the moving average crossover strategy. I remember warning someone when they started out with that strategy. It's the worst thing you could do. It seems like it's performing for the first week or two, even the first few months. I'm yet to see someone who's been around for like 5 years who still uses that strategy. I didn't use it for long. It just, like, for the first few weeks it just looked like it was bad. I didn't understand it. It was never, not that I didn't understand it, it's just that I could never use it consistently, because breakouts would happen on the lower time frames, and by the time it shows up on the higher time frames, the big move has already gone, and then now it's starting to pull back. And so now you're trying to jump into pullbacks, jump out, jump into pullbacks, jump out. I would avoid it. And then don't increase the size of your trades. That's number 10 and the most important. Don't increase the size of your trades. You'd think that you'd actually make more progress by increasing the size of your trades, by trading more, and going for a higher win rate. That's actually very incorrect. Those 3 things don't work. Going for a higher win rate placing more positions and increasing the size of your positions, that's deadly. It won't work. Um, if you look at The Way of the Turtle, if you read that book, The Way of the Turtle, it's written by Curtis Faith, and I think it's one of the most important books I've ever read. And if you look at the data that they have in there, you'll find that as you get closer to doubling your account, your risk to blow actually increasing, which seems very intuitive. That the closer you are to doubling and tripling your account, the higher your chances are of blowing your account. It just seems obvious, but it's really important to know that the minute you cross over 80% returns, things look down. And somehow, once you get to that 80%, there's something that goes on into your brain. It's like, I forgot the term he uses, but essentially you move to a godlike status where you think that, you know what, I've got this, I know the market. At that 80% where it starts to get dangerous, it's like where you're like, you know what, I've got this, I've solved the market, I've solved the problem. And instead of you being cautious that you're going to blow, you actually get a spike of euphoria and dopamine, and you increase the size of your trades, you trade more, and then you blow. So I'm not saying that you should increase the size of your trades, or that you should double or triple. But as you get past that 80%, you're really playing with fire. It's a really important book and a really important study done by Curtis Faith. I don't think that they're using the same strategy anymore. I think they stopped using the turtle strategy, but I know some people are still using it. Lex Van Dam, the institutional guy, the hedge fund guy, I was watching one of his seminars recently, and he's using a version of The Way of the Turtle strategy, but he's called it turtle soup. So it's a variation of it. It's kind of it's very simple. I think it's the most simple one, and it's really really good. You should check it out.